live from the Richard Harris Law Firm studios.
I don't think we need anything to tap into. With a veteran team and where we're at in the standings right now, we don't need to tap into anything else other than worrying about ourselves and being ready to play.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Inside the final 10 seconds, the crowd to its feet here at T-Mobile Arena. They are back in the win column. John Tortorella.
With Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
Taking each day at a time. Yeah, so thought we had a good meeting this morning. I thought the practice was sharp. Let's play a game. See where we go.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Daren Millard, Jared Justice, live inside the Richard Harris Law Firm studios. Richard Harris Law Firm, where they've won billions for their clients with their less fee guarantee. Happy Wednesday. How we doing, boys?
First practice for John Tortorella on the ice with his new team. So a lot to get into regarding the Vegas Golden Knights as that they get comfortable with each other between the players, the coaching staff, and John Tortorella. We will dive into that. We also have a one-on-one conversation that I had with John Tortorella. We'll bring you that discussion in hour 2 of the VGK Insider Show. We will talk about the Henderson Silver Knights with Brian McCormack in just a little bit. 2 league honors bestowed on the HSK over the last 24 hours as they have been on a roll coming out of the All-Star break. One-timers, news notes from around the National Hockey League, a few things to get into. On the eve of the second game for Tortorella's VGK taking on the Calgary Flames, which will be an emotional night for both benches tomorrow. Rasmus Andersson will face the Flames for the first time, and on the Flames bench, it will be the guy that he was traded for in Zach Whitecloud making his return to the Fortress. So that is going to be an interesting experience for both those guys who will go through that for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it'll certainly be an emotional night for Zach Whitecloud and his return to T-Mobile Arena, and you'll have kind of that weird situation where a player that has spent so much time here returns home and should get a hero's welcome, because that's the type of player that Zach Whitecloud was. But to your point about Rasmus Andersson, it's the first time he's going to look to the other side of the ice, and he's playing his former club as a member of the Golden Knights, and there's a lot to play for.
Neither guy's been traded before.
Yeah.
This is the first time going through that. Facing his opposition. Yeah,
and there's a lot to play for, obviously, on the Golden Knights side of the ledger. Like, you just heard it from John Tortorella on that open. Like, it's not that you need to tap into anything. This is a Golden Knights team that wants to win games. There will be emotion in the building, but it shouldn't supersede the goal, the objective, and that's 2 points on the ledger for the Golden Knights.
Vegas went through a spirited workout today at City National Arena. Again, it was the first time that John Tortorella was on the ice with his new team. He did not go out for the morning skate the other night in the lead up to his debut against the Vancouver Canucks. So a little bit of curiosity about how different practice would be, because it's not just the coaches out there for practice. The drills are all different from one coach to the next. So we've become accustomed, the players become accustomed to the same type of warm-up drills, and then some flow drills, and then how they're going to what they're going to work on specifically on their game. And that would go from Gerard Gallant to Pete DeBoer. There would be a difference. There would be adjustment to Bruce Cassidy. He never would use the whiteboard during practice. Similar situation with John Tortorella and Torts practice today. If you've seen some of the posts around, the thing that stood out was it was up tempo, not just up tempo, because a lot of coaches try to keep things moving. That's why they don't go to the whiteboard. But there was a large focus, almost a primary focus, on the rush drills, transition drills, starting from one end of the ice and going to the other, and then you would get in line and come back and go the other way. So it started with 2-on-0s, 3-on-0s, passing the puck, and then a 3-on-1, and then a retrieval type of a drill going back and forth. But it was one end of the ice to the other. So a lot of skating and a lot of tempo to the practice. A lot of shots for the goaltenders, not a lot of time in between, but the players had to be up-tempo going up the ice. You weren't able to just dangle your way in, make 3 moves, and dish it off to the guy wide open. You had to keep it going and quick because the next guys were coming down the ice right behind you. Mm-hmm. You had to get out of the way. So that was something that was interesting as far as what it fit with what Torts wanted and talked about the other day. Be fast and be north, and that's what we saw a lot of today with the defensemen going back, moving the puck up the ice. And then at the end of every drill, the players did a lap. Mm-hmm. Complete lap, and then transition 1, it was a complete lap one way and then a figure 8 and complete lap the other. Very old school. You don't see that a lot anymore, that type of, and there's a little bit of conditioning in it, but it's also just almost wrap things up, put a bow on it. Instead of coming over the bench for a drink, you put a bow on it with that, and you've earned your drink. But there was that skating on top of a lot of skating in the drills that they did today. And at the end of the formal part of practice, they split off and did the power play work. And then at the other end, the guys that weren't in the power play did some down low work, forwards coming out of the corner, and then up top to the defenseman for the secondary option, and getting a shot on net and going for a rebound. So there was a different tone to different approach, certainly with the drills that we saw today. Mm-hmm. And for the players, it was all brand new. And I talked to a couple of guys, and they said, yeah, it was up-tempo, it was good, but you had to pay attention because it was fresh. So the pre-practice meeting, you really had to pay attention. And then nobody wants to be the drill buster out there.
Right.
And every team has a drill buster out there. And you don't want to be that person. If you end up going first in a drill, you don't want to be the guy where the whistle goes and says, again. And there was none of that today. But so a bit of pressure on the guys today with the practice to execute all the drills that Torts had. And then there was that mini 2-on-2 game that they wrapped up with, which is more of a competition drill, a good game simulation drill for goaltenders and the forwards.
So the idea of tempo, and I think you mentioned it, right? Like, it's something that John Tortorella talked about in his introductory press conference. He's wanting to see this team play faster, right? And there's a couple of different ways of looking at that. Obviously, there's individual player speed, but there's also moving the puck and having the mindset of moving the puck and doing things at a faster clip. So the fact that, that first practice for Tortorella is focused on pace. He talked about how he's always thinking about pace. That's going to be, something that's just a little bit different, I think, for the Golden Knights. And kind of on the heels of our conversation yesterday with Mike Rupp, he talked about just changing drills up as one of those things that gets your attention when you've got a new coach, and something that can kind of break the monotony of an 82-game season or 3-year stretch with a coach. And that might be something to just kind of move you in the right direction.
And there's a lot of similarities between Torts and Butch. Mm-hmm. And Butch liked his practices to be fast. Certainly wanted the guys to play fast in games. They are very similar in that approach to how they want their teams to play. Today was just a different way to approach it. And what you like about today in watching it is it really does install that first reaction by the defenseman or the forwards to get going north. You're not cheating, but you're doing a lot of drills, and it's repetition, coming through the neutral zone, being on side. That's an extra layer to it if you treat it like a game. But it does double down on just instilling that emphasis that Torts wants. And the first pass from the defenseman is going north, and the forwards are going north. They're not going east-west skating. They're in their lanes, and they're going north. And then once you cross the blue line, then you get into your creativity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the right way to approach it. I mean, you mentioned it. There's similarities, obviously, between Bruce Cassidy and John Tortorella. That's not a new concept of not going D to D, of making sure that you're getting up the ice quickly, getting up the ice connected. And, I think for the Golden Knights, you saw it in the game the other night against Vancouver when they were a little bit more not on their back foot or just looking to be a little bit more deliberate. It wasn't as effective as what they did in the second period, which was north, north, north. And that's what they did. They applied a lot of pressure in all three zones.
It's a mindset.
It is.
And,
you're right.
And you can get away from it, and a casual fan would notice it. But it also takes fitness. It takes dedication from your mind to keep on the gas pedal. It's really easy when the game's going 1,000 miles an hour that you might just slow it down a little bit. The old meaning was slow was safe. In the modern game, slow is death.
Mm-hmm.
It's really changed. I bet you when Torts started coaching the first couple of years, the game was played slow.
Mm-hmm.
That was the way you approached it. It was the neutral zone was clogged up, and you took your time on the back end to come up the ice because it was so hard to navigate it. You had to really find your lane and your seams. Now you better be on your horse going north because your forwards are expecting the puck in a certain spot. You better get it to them as a defenseman, and on the other side, you better be back working your system defensively if there's a turnover and the other team's coming at you, because most of the teams follow the same philosophy of getting up the ice quick. How much can you maintain it throughout a game?
Mm-hmm.
There's different levels of that. How deep is your roster in being able to maintain that effectively? Like some teams just can't do it deep into their roster, and it gets away from them. Vegas isn't that way. So in talking to Torts, he's so excited about working with this group, and every coach gets excited about a new job,
Sure,
the new opportunity. But this is different in the sense that he's walked into a ready-made situation to compete for a Stanley Cup. And he's excited about not having to hold hands or teach guys the fundamentals of the game. And some of that will come through in my conversation with Torts today. Some of those experiences from the past jobs that he's had to this situation. But that's what jumps out to me is how much of an opportunity to win this is beyond teaching.
I mean, it's right there for him, right? Like, he's got a team that, I think we all know can have a higher ceiling than what they have had to this point in the regular season. And if they're able to find that next gear, put it all together, gain traction, whatever you want to say surrounding the Golden Knights, they've got as good a shot as anybody when it comes to getting into the playoffs and making a run, right? Like, that's the reality of the situation. And to your point about John Tortorella, his last couple of stops, it's been more along the lines of teams rebuilding, looking to get back to the spot where the Golden Knights are right now, in their window, ready to compete, wanting to compete for another Stanley Cup. And, I think you're right. Like, the enthusiasm that he has for this opportunity, it jumps out at you. It really does. And there's a positivity to that I think can be really, really beneficial for, a team that all season long has seemingly fought that.
I like the way he articulated it too. Like, he's not here to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have all been through it. It's just put some I don't know, guardrails, markers in place, some strategy in place, and then get out of the way and let them execute it. You're not teaching guys how to be pros here.
Mm-hmm.
They are a veteran team. Really, outside of one guy, they've got multiple years experience, and this is very, very different. Torts actually had he coined the phrase. This is, I want to say, 2013, in and around there. It was the first time I'd heard it. He called it the league is young and dumb, and he said that's not an insult.
Yeah.
But they don't know. The players are so young because of salary cap. You got to have young players come in. If you're for most of the teams, you got to have that player that can give you a roster spot, a prospect, but also is on an ELC or is more affordable. So they're in the National Hockey League maybe before they would have been before the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
But so they don't know certain things yet about being a pro in the National Hockey League, about certain things that how you carry yourself off the ice with your fitness and your diet, or on the ice, how you control the puck possession and prevent turnovers in the wrong spot. And it sounds like it's attention grabbing, that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But when he explained it to me, because I was doing a game in Columbus when we talked about it, and then he's used the phrase again, it makes sense. The players haven't learned. They're so young. They haven't been able to absorb everything that goes on or learn everything that goes on. That was the case in Philadelphia. That was the case in Columbus when he first started there. That is not the situation here. This is a veteran, experienced, smart team.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's not a unique thing to hockey. It's you find that in every profession, every job, right? Like you've got people just breaking into the workforce that don't really know what it means to be a professional. And you can find that across different domains in different careers. But, when it comes to the National Hockey League, because these players that break in or the young players come in with either a lot of hype or they're able to do things skill set wise that, bring you out of your seat, you kind of get lulled into this idea that they know what the rigors of an 82 game season is. They know what is expected of them on and off the ice at all times, and that's not necessarily always the case. For Torts, though, in this scenario, it is. It absolutely is. He knows he's got a team that is going to pay attention, that's going to be able to do the things that he's asking them to do, and he's not going to have to worry about as you mentioned it, babysitting, right? He's going to be able to just instill the things he wants to instill, and this team should be able to execute on them.
A couple of notes from practice. You saw Mitch Marner skating with Ivan Barbashev and Mark Stone again today.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Jack Eichel was with Brett Howden and Pavel Dorofeev. So just a little switch from the way they started the other night. I know they got to it in the second and third, but those combinations carried over to today.
Yeah, I like those combinations. I'm interested to see how long they last.
Yeah. And there's going to be some tweaking, and Torts did say, like Mitch Marner is so versatile. You might see him at center for a while, and then a couple of shifts later on the wing, and so I think you'll see some different combinations throughout games. So pay attention to that. Also, Carter Hart and Aiden Hill with the goaltenders at practice today.
Mm-hmm.
Akira Schmid went out earlier and did his work, but more progress for Carter Hart. Both goaltenders, it allowed both goaltenders to have the net today during the full practice.
Yeah, and that's obviously a step in the right direction for Carter Hart as he inches closer to getting back for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, we're going to see him soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's, a net positive, obviously, for Vegas down the stretch as they're trying to pick up as many points as they can.
On the positive side of things, like really positive side of things, things were fun here at City National Arena, but take it up a notch over at America First Center with the Henderson Silver Knights. We'll chat with Brian McCormack about a couple of league honors for HSK and what's going on there. Next on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Time now to saddle up with the HSK. our weekly check-in with the Henderson Silver Knights.
Still to come on the VGK Insider Show, a one-on-one that I recorded this afternoon with John Tortorella. Get to know Torts a little bit. I was looking forward to you hearing that. A lot of little things that I didn't even know about Torts, including, don't call him John. But Brian McCormack is standing by, the voice of the Henderson Silver Knights, who are a wagon right now. We'll get to BMAC after we offer up this vibe of a dimly lit, hard liquor drinking, red meat eating, lounge-like hockey promo.
The Henderson Silver Knights are making their playoff push, and it all resumes this weekend as the Knights host some birds from Tucson, the Roadrunners. Friday night, the puck will drop just after 7 p.m., and on Saturday, let's move it an hour earlier and drop that puck just a hair after 6. So listen to Brian McCormack and Doug Latuca with the call of the game. Scores! From the Lee's Family Forum on 1230 The Game.
Sounds like it's a theme night coming up this weekend.
It's Richard Cheese
Join us
night.
at the lounge at Lee's Family Forum. What do you think, BMAC?
Yeah, that sounds like dressing gowns and velvet slippers only.
Yes. But that's the actual promo. That wasn't a shtick. That's the promo.
No, I believe. That sounds like it was recorded in the bar on the 99th floor of the finest hotel. Who's playing the piano? That's what I need to know.
Would you believe that the music was put in post? That Jared didn't read that to the music?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a hankering for an olive right now?
I could use one.
No. I like the steak that you were daydreaming about earlier. I'd go with that. Yeah. The steak, the bourbon, and the dimly lit dueling piano bar. Yeah.
I'm looking for a tip jar. Where is it? Where is it? Hey, BMAC.
Yeah.
Tell me about the awards that you guys hauled in today.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get my bearings. I'm going to have to tone things down this weekend. I've been way too raucous this season. I just tap into my Barry White a lot more than I have been. Yeah, good awards. That's the most disarming start to this segment we've ever had.
Which is saying something.
It is. It really is. No, it was a good awards day for the Silver Knights.
Can you do it? Can you deliver it like if we're going to make this the lounge? Can you deliver it in lounge like? I
want to hang up and call back. Where Daren Elliott and I record the podcast, we call that the Lucky Lounge, and now it just sounds it's a man cave. What we've been doing, we need to get some textured wallpaper and
some red tablecloths, little velvet.
Yeah, some guy walking around with a pepper mill for food that we don't have. We just have to dress up the atmosphere a little more.
Oh yeah, the pepper. You're right.
What was your question?
I want you in a lounge-like inflection, like a piano player up there singing some great old tunes. Tell me about some pretty significant honors that came the Henderson Silver Knights' way today.
This is the first time we've ever done this segment where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Well, Daren, on at Lee's Family Forum, we've gotten some scintillating production from Trevor Connolly and Raphael Lavoie. Raphael Lavoie is the player of the month, and I think that surprised nobody. He has 15 goals in the last 16 games, so I think it was 13 goals for the month of March, which was the most of any AHL player dating back to April 2022. So best month in a long time for any player for Raphael Lavoie. And he's just had a tremendous – he's got 24 goals in 37 games. And who knows where this guy would be if he didn't miss essentially 2 months recovering from a lower body injury. But at the same time, it was a nagging injury. So do you get this kind of electric propulsion forward in his numbers if he doesn't take that little hiatus? So either way, it's been a ridiculously productive month for him. And then Trevor Connolly is in the midst of the longest point streak in Silver Knights history. He's got points in 15 straight. He has points in 20 of the last 21. So, he's a bounce or two away from this being an even more impressive statistic. But he's got points in 20 of the last 21. Again, the 15-game point streak is the longest in Silver Knights history and the second longest in the AHL this season. And he's 20 years old. He's been 20 years old for a month. It's ridiculous what he's been doing with 30 points over the last 21 games. And now it's Rookie of the Month awards for the Silver Knights in back-to-back months, because in February it was Ben Hemmerling. So you don't go 15-3-3 out of the All-Star break without some guys doing some pretty impressive things. And for two guys today, that was attached to I don't think they get a literal trophy. I don't know that for a fact. I don't think they do, but metaphorically, hardware.
I've always asked that. Like, do you get like a plaque or some kind of bumper sticker that says I'm the Rookie of the Month? Like, you should get something, but I don't think you're right. I don't think they do.
Yeah, you get a hell of a social media graphic is what you get, Daren. It's unbelievable.
That's good. That's right. And I made sure that I forwarded both of those today. So let's start with Connolly, and then we'll get to Raf. But what's been the impetus behind the performance by Trevor, who had to go through the disappointment of being injured at the World Junior Championship, unable to participate with Team USA? Where's he been magical?
Yeah, so, it's been over the course of this, the 21-game run that I mentioned, he has 8 goals in that stretch. So he's been doing it in all functions, but the last 15 games of his point streak he's got 3 goals, and it's been a lot of helpers. So he's been a terrific playmaker. He's able to see things that others don't, especially when you're set up in zone. I mean, the Silver Knights have had so many instances of just lengthy in-zone pressure. And I've mentioned that to Coach Ryan Craig so often. He just says, it's the mentality, the checking mentality, the responsibility they have in their system. This is a team that stands up at the blue line all the time. And you'll see teams get pinned in where I think they just think they're going to get a little bit of a reprieve, and they just get hemmed in so often because of what the Silver Knights, how aggressive they are inside the tops of the circles. So the reason I mention that is when the Silver Knights are able to hem teams in and they win races to puck retrievals, there's just sustained ozone time. And during those stretches, if you give Trevor Connolly 5 feet of room above the tops of the circles, he's finding a seam to create. So that's what he does in zone. Off the rush, it's such an attack mentality. And I think for a player that's still growing, you put on a lot of good weight since last summer. And he mentioned, Jeff Conkle, among others, on the strength and conditioning staff that really focused on putting good weight on for him over the summer. He's gotten heavier, and he's got more growing to do in that respect. But he plays with a little bit of, honestly, bordering on reckless abandon. And again, that's reckless abandon sounds reckless, so it's not the right term to use. But, this past weekend in Milwaukee, as the streak continued, he had 2 net mouth collisions with goaltender Matthew Murray. And, a couple of them he got nudged, but, he was going in there. And I think we've talked about this a couple of times. Daren Elliott can vouch for this, too. He's had a couple of goals this season and just a couple of grade A chances where he's just gone barreling across the top of the blue paint and, launched himself Bobby Orr style. So, for Ryan Craig, he says, he plays in the middle of the ice, he attacks the middle of the ice, and that's 100% true, and that's why he's getting a lot of success. But there's also an element of, he insists upon being in the middle of the ice. Even when it's not there, he lowers his shoulder, he forces his way to the inside, and he makes plays happen. And because there's so much speed, it's hard for defenders to turn with him, to stay with him. And if you get inside the dots, well, you're not going to be able to avoid the chaos at that point. You just have to turn and go with him. So you'll see so many times where he just goes 1-on-3 and just goes right down the middle and forces at least 2 defenders, hey, you're either going to let me blast through or you're going to turn and take me. And when they do that, that's when he dishes off and, Raphael Lavoie has a lane to the front. Or, he's been playing a lot with Alexander Holtz and Kai Uchaz, and they have a look. So his speed forces you to respect him, but it's not just speed driving wide. It's speed that's right in your face, and frankly, it just forces a defender to make a decision. So that kind of forcefulness has been so impressive, and it's impressive at 20. Who knows what's going to be like.
That's the part that
21, 22, and if he can become, again, he's not slight now, but he's got more room to grow. If he becomes 20 pounds heavier and a couple of years older, I don't know how you turn that back on a regular basis.
What about Raf?
Oh, for Raphael Lavoie. So shame on me for not having the numbers on in front of me. I apologize, but he's played 37 games, and he leads the team in shots on goal. When he came back from his 2-month hiatus, as you can imagine, he was probably about 30 shots behind in that category. Now he's back in front. So he's a volume shooter, but he's not a volume shooter in the sense of bad angled prayers from the corner. Like, no, he has 6 or 7 shots a night, and they're all devastatingly dangerous. And we've talked about it. The one timer from the left dot, your stereotypical Ovechkin, Stamkos, Zibanejad office, like that's always been a very, very dangerous part of his game. He's probably got the best one-timer from that spot in the American Hockey League. But now that he's 100% healthy, there's speed. He has strength. He's 6'4". He asserts himself to the middle. He's able to work the perimeter in the offensive zone to find spots. And that line right now of Raphael Lavoie, Tanner Lazinski, who is, I think, 5th in the league in scoring now and a plus 35, and Ben Hemmerling, who we just mentioned, was Rookie of the Month in February, that might be the most dangerous line in the American Hockey League. So for that line that has so much ozone time and so much just relentless pressure, Raphael Lavoie is one of the best finishers in the American Hockey League. So, the fact he's playing on a line where he spends 75% of his night in the ozone, it's not surprising that when the puck finds him, he's able to more often than not find a dangerous opportunity, and he's finishing more often than not.
On the topic of just the production that Lavoie is having right now, like what can that do for the player moving forward? Like, obviously in the moment he's helping his team lock up a playoff spot, all of those things right now, but as a guy that wants to take the next step, what does a season like this do for Raphael Lavoie?
Yeah, Ryan, I think the great thing for Raf is, not only is the production speak for itself, but, he's a really dangerous power play weapon, and the power play over the last 12 games or so has been 40-something%. I mean, it's just video game numbers. So, yeah, he's cashing in on that, but it's not power play exclusive. He's a full 200-foot 5-on-5 threat. And, as he develops, he's 25 years old now. He's had offensive seasons that have been prolific before with the Bakersfield Condors. Last year with the Silver Knights, took him a little while to get going, and then once he did, he picked it up. But again, nothing compares to this. So I think he's fully healthy, and that is his ability to turn and say, hey, guys, when I'm fully healthy, he's got 15 goals in the last 16 games. He's practically, if he's not a goal-a-game player, he's a goal-every-other-game player in the American Hockey League. So I think, there's an argument for him to say, I've played 17 NHL games in my career, but I'm a fully more healthy, dynamic version of myself now. I'm more confident in my body now than I've ever been in my career, and look what I'm doing with it. So I think, that's an element of it, but again, if you're scoring, I think I should know off the top of my head, but I think he's got 44 points now in 37 games, or 42 points. He's a point per game guy, and he's over the last month and a half, he's a goal a game guy, and that's driving the Silver Knights to a playoff spot, along with teammates that are all, that's the thing, guys. Is I could name you 7 different guys who are on maybe not goal a game runs, but there's 7 or 8 point per game guys now over the course of this stretch since the All-Star break. So, a rising tide is going to lift all boats for sure. But, I think when Raphael Lavoie can say, I'm one of the best players in the American Hockey League, and here are the numbers to prove it, anyone who's looking for their opportunity to go up, at the very least, you can say, hey, I'm doing what you're asking me to do down here. And, that's Ryan Craig says it all the time, be where your feet are. And right now this group is where their feet are, and they're tap dancing.
Lounging around with Brian McCormack on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. So right now you're 6th in the division, inside the playoff cut line. You've got an opportunity to do a couple of things down the stretch. Tell me about how many games left and where you can get to.
Yeah, so there's 8 games left, and you're right. It's accordion style compressed right now. Right now, this is a Silver Knights team that can realistically get as high as 4th. I mean, the Bakersfield Condors, the Coachella Valley Firebirds, the Silver Knights, San Diego Gulls are all, pretty much right on top of each other. Right now, I think the San Jose Barracuda are in 3rd. They've been struggling of late. They're kind of coming back to the pack. So, home ice advantage is absolutely possible for this Silver Knights group. And for those who aren't aware, that first-round series in the Pacific Division is a 3-game series. So I won't get into all of it, but if you're within a certain amount of mileage from your opponent, there are a split between home and away. If it's too far outside that sphere, like Colorado would be, they would all be in Colorado. So all of which is to say, there's a lot of scenarios that can play out in terms of who they might see in the first round. But the first job is to get in. And for the Silver Knights tonight, Tucson and San Diego play each other. They're right on top of each other, but I believe Tucson is the one that would have the greatest impact. There's 1 point difference between Tucson and San Diego, but I believe the scenario is that if Tucson loses tonight, the Silver Knights, of course, play Tucson twice this weekend. If those were to align, and if the Silver Knights could get all 4 points this weekend in regulation, they could clinch hypothetically as soon as this weekend at Leafs Family Forum. So 8 games left, plenty of time to take care of their business, but if everything aligned properly, there is a chance mathematically that they could secure a playoff spot for the first time since 2022 as soon as Saturday.
Brian, I wanted to circle back on Trevor Connolly through the lens of what you mentioned with Ben Hemmerling, and that's 2 months in a row, Rookies of the Month in the American Hockey League. When you start to think about Ryan Craig, his staff, development, all of those things, obviously the individual players go out there and they earn those accolades, but what is it about the coaching staff and what's set in place to allow rookies to succeed the way that Hemmerling and Connolly have?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ryan, because, we can even broaden that scope out a little bit. We're talking about 2 Rookie of the Month awards because we're confining the search filters to rookies. Mm-hmm. Broaden it out to 2-year players, and you can bring Braden Bowman and Ty Uchaz and Carl Lindbaum into that same conversation. Carl Lindbaum, by the way, was not the goaltender of the month. I imagine he might have finished second because since the All-Star break, he's 13-0-1. So, I mean, that's another element of it that we haven't touched on.
13-0-1
and not the goalie of the month.
Now, within the month of March, he was 8-0-1.
Oh,
so I
okay.
think Remy Poirier from Texas won. I think Remy Poirier might have had a little bit of a better save percentage. He was 7-2, I think. Maybe you just don't want to give all 3 awards to one team. I don't know.
Yeah, that plays a role in it.
And he plays a mean piano, from what we heard in the promo as well. I think to answer your question, Ryan, first of all, it's opportunity. Mm-hmm. If players prove themselves, they're going to be put in a position. Ben Hemmerling is meshing really well with Tanner Lazinski and Raphael Lavoie. And before Raphael Lavoie was moved up to that spot, it was still Ben Hemmerling with Tanner Lazinski and Jonas Rambjörg, who hopefully is back in the mix for the Silver Knights pretty darn soon. So, I don't think Ryan Craig doesn't question that. If it's meshing and it's working, all right, you have the right to play in that line until you give me a reason not to put you on there. You have a right to be on the first power play or the second power play until you give me a reason not to. So I think there's that opportunity. I do think it's been a really good mix of veterans that have made it possible for these young players to make mistakes and feel confident and come back again. And again, this team is 15-3-3 since the All-Star break, which is to say, and Ryan Craig does say this, no one's a rookie anymore. Once you've got 4 or 5 months of service time under your belt, well, you should understand everything just as well as the veterans do. So no reason to treat you like a rookie when you've played 60 games in this league. You should believe that you belong here. And there's a lot of guys having a lot of success, and that compounds. And, you've asked me this, I think, before, Ryan. They're 15-3-3 since the All-Star break. Well, why? What's the difference? I think it's a combination of a couple of things. First of all, from the off-season when they brought in the likes of Dylan Coughlin, Jeremy Davies, Jacob Megna, just to name a few, there are definitely some better players on the roster. And at the same time, there's players on the roster who are playing better. And there's no question that this group has bought in and understood the systems a heck of a lot better in February and March than in October and November, which is how it should be. And now you don't have a bunch of young guys learning how to play in the league. Now you've got a bunch of guys who know how to play in the league and are holding themselves accountable to do what the X's and O's in the morning meeting and the film session require of them.
Brian McCormack with us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Before we go, where are you this weekend? What are you up to?
Home this weekend, Tucson Roadrunners in town, and again, if things go right, the Silver Knights might have a chance to clinch this weekend. If not, if they're picking up points that they expect to pick up, they can do it shortly after. And on Saturday, we're going to have Donate Life Night presented by Nevada Donor Network. I think the first 3,000 fans get souvenir glow sticks, which is always fun when Chandler Blanchard Teams turns the lights off at Lee's Family Forum. But always an important night every year with the Nevada Donor Network to encourage fans to do what they can to make a difference and save lives. So that's what's coming up this weekend to start off April. And looking forward to it. I got to say, guys, I just realized that whole promo it's still in my head. I can't think of anything else. I'm sorry. But the Lucky Lounge promo, you keep telling me how legit and how serious that is, and it must be because it just played during this segment. But if that wasn't the best opportunity for an April Fool's joke from Jared, then there's no greater opportunity than to pull one over on me. But you guys say that's real, and it sounds pretty.
It is, because I made fun of it yesterday. I made fun of it yesterday, and Ryan did one last week, and they used the Simpsons music in it, or something
more
akin
or less
to the Simpsons music. So I'm on a real roll with production. They love me over there.
Yeah, they could have asked me to read it, but I could see that boardroom meeting where they're all sitting around like his voice. It's just not sexy enough. We just can't go with McCormack for this one. We've got to go the Jared Justice route. I understand that. I respect it.
You know where we're doing the next Jared Justice promo is at Capo's. I don't know whether you've been over to Capo's, the Speakeasy, the restaurant. That's where that thing should be shot and filmed, because it's got that same vibe. Like outstanding food, great vibe in music, great entertainment, the whole experience of that Speakeasy.
Yeah, I haven't been there before, but let me just say I am 100% behind and supportive of anything that gets us to start recording radio bits on location. This whole theater of the mind thing, we're pulling way too much of the weight.
I know.
If you guys want this to sound like a Hawaiian beach, then we gotta go.
I'm in. We'll get Sharps to fly us.
That's right. We're connected.
We know people. That's the way it works.
You guys
we know people.
You guys are gonna hang up and say goodbye to me. You guys are gonna have no idea where to take the show after this.
That's most shows, Brian. That's most shows.
Do we have to do a second hour because this has been so entertaining?
Just run it back and not play Torts one-on-one?
If we didn't have the Torts one-on-one, we would just run the first hour back. But the second hour is going to be pretty good, too. Hey,
I'm sure your conversation with Torts sounded a lot like this. Yeah.
Hey, do you remember, just to, no, you're right about that, but it's got some cool stuff. Do you remember when Rick Bowness got the call about Columbus?
Yeah.
And where he was? Remember? The
was
big thing. He was on a boat.
He was on a boat. It's a Lonely Island
he was
song.
on the boat. There's a really cool thing connecting that story and John Tortorella when he got the call. Just throwing it out there as a little bit of a hook. That's a tease.
That's a big-time tease.
And I'll be able to tell you all about it from Capos. They're not a sponsor, but they work in this regard. Thanks, buddy. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to watch on Friday and Saturday. I might be there in person on Friday if you'll let me hang out with you.
I hope you will. I appreciate you guys having me on today. I had a lot of fun, and I'll say goodbye because I have to go catch last call.
Boy. Stir it up with that martini, that olive in there. Oh, just got a feeling right now of excitement and fun. We'll be back. John Tortorella joins me, and we'll talk about his journey and his life. You get to know him a little bit better on Fox Sports Las Vegas. The BGK Insider Show continues.
Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm Studios.
We got a little skirmish brewing in front of the Vegas bench. The Canucks break out. It's Linus Karlsson, who just slashed Lozon. Now they're into it.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
And the lines will have to separate them. Linus Karlsson should get a penalty for slashing. And now you got the extracurriculars. Kane is out there. Sisson's into it. Lozon's going after Karlsson. And the linesmen doing their best to restrain everybody. This is all in front of the Vancouver bench.
with Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
And now Kluger throws a punch at Sissons. Sissons returning. Sissons' helmet is up. Kluger's is not. They've squared off cleanly here. And then Sissons takes Kluger to the railing at the Vancouver bench. And Kluger's tied up, but he's still trying to punch. So Sissons just takes him down to the ice. And now Lausanne drops the gloves. He wants to fight. And of course, anytime Evander Kane is out there, you never know what'll happen.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
BGK Insider Show, working our way through the day. We've got a great conversation with Torts coming up. John Tortorella, the new head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. So we'll bring you that in a couple of minutes. Daren Millard, along with Ryan Wallace and Jared Justice, tell you that Edmonton Oilers are on a roll. They have won 5 of 7 without Leon Draisaitl. And at the outset of that, I told people that was an opportunity for Edmonton to dial in their structure and get on the same page defending the game and see where it went. And they've certainly been able to win hockey games that they weren't winning before. They've won 4 in a row. So what it means to the standings is Anaheim first in the Pacific with 87 points. That's 2 ahead of Edmonton. And they are 5 up on the Vegas Golden Knights, first, second, and third in the Pacific Division. On the ice tonight, Anaheim Ducks play. We'll get more into the details of the schedule in one-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Los Angeles Kings and the San Jose Sharks, who are outside playoff position, also in action tonight. The Kings 1 point below the Nashville Predators for the second wild card spot, and the San Jose Sharks are a couple of points out of a playoff spot. But just a note, though, Winnipeg has timed the market dip very well because everybody's kind of struggled in the race for that final playoff berth lately. And the Jets have gone on a surge. I didn't think they could get in because they had to pass so many teams. But think about this. Teams that they were behind. Seattle, 3-5-2 in their last 10. San Jose, 4-5-1 in their last 10. Los Angeles Kings, 3 wins in their last 10. Nashville, only 5 wins in their last 10. Utah, 4 wins in their last 10. Add that all together, and Winnipeg has passed the Sharks. They've gone by the Seattle Kraken, and they are right on the heels of the Los Angeles Kings. Only a tiebreaker puts them behind the Kings right now. But the Winnipeg Jets are a point out of a playoff spot. Didn't think they could get there, but with everybody losing at the same time, they're right in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Winnipeg is 6-2-2 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. And, I guess at this point, when you look at the fact that they're 1 point out of a playoff spot, and yes, they're bunched up with a bunch of other teams, the Jets, they have been a perennial playoff team. They won a President's Trophy last year. Like, if you're telling me you got to pick one team that's been there before, that's done it, that you can believe in down the stretch to make the most of it or go on a run, why not the Winnipeg Jets with Connor Hellebuck between the pipes?
That changes the number 1 seed in the West versus wild card 2. That changes that matchup a little bit when you consider, okay, Colorado is going to be able to get through it with little push and be in a better spot than the 2 versus 3 Minnesota and Dallas in that first round, that should be an amazing series. It kind of alters how I look at the how much Colorado is going to be tested in the first round.
For sure. I mean, if it ends up being Winnipeg, right? If it's Colorado Winnipeg in the first round, that is a very, very different series, regardless of the type of season the Jets have had, than it would be against Nashville or San Jose or Seattle or LA. Like, it's just the reality of the situation. So, I think if you're the Colorado Avalanche, you're hopeful that it's not the Winnipeg Jets. And if you're the Winnipeg Jets and you get in, you're playing with house money at that point, right? Like, you have had a nice surge at the back end of the season. The Avalanche, though they've been the best team in the league wire to wire, it has certainly not been the same type of performance from Colorado over the last 35 games as it was the first 35 games. So, there's a lot to lean into there if you're looking for an upset in the first round.
I love the playoff format the National Hockey League works with right now. It's so competitive. It's absolute chaos in the East, and you've got some really intriguing possibilities in the West. Edmonton now kind of making a push for behind Anaheim. Like Vegas closed the gap the other night, and Edmonton is 2 points back of Anaheim. We were all getting used to the idea of a first round between the Oilers and Golden Knights, and then who would have home ice advantage. It may not be that right now. I think Vegas with their schedule and hopefully the turn of fortune under John Tortorella, I think that they're ready to go on a season-ending run. Edmonton's had this streak right now. Anaheim is within reach. It's not a pick 'em right now because there is separation, 5 points between first and third. But I think that there's a route for all three teams to get to the top seed in the Pacific.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the more that you look at it, the more you start to think about the tiebreaker, like the regulation wins, regulation overtime wins. The Oilers have the lead on the Ducks in that regard. So I know it might sound wild to say this, considering that the Anaheim Ducks are 2 points up on Edmonton and they've got a game in hand. But it almost feels to me, based on what the Oilers have done recently, and again, recency bias is a part of this, that the Oilers are the most likely team to win the division.
Except, like, you go on these runs, and then there's always a sag.
There's a dip, right?
So if Vegas went on a run, there's no more. They run it out. 7 games left. So there's no time for that dip to happen. I think you could see a 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah, I mean it's
there
possible
is that
for sure. Yeah,
the way they've been competitive. Now Vegas has to turn it on under the tutelage of John Tortorella. They're 1-0 with Torts and looking for another victory tomorrow night against the Calgary Flames here at T-Mobile Arena, and then they go on the road for a couple. But the schedule sets up. Got a chance to sit down with Torts today. And I'm calling it Torts. I announced that yesterday, that it felt more comfortable, but I got permission today from the man himself. But we start off the conversation with a flashback to today's media session. And I asked the question knowing it was the possibility, and it was a great exchange. But then, based on the answer, Torts and I got to laugh about it after. So this is the sort of the preset is Torts and I in the media session, and then we sit down and reflect on life and get to know John Tortorella a little bit better. You did talk to the leadership group at the end of practice on the ice. There were some laughs in there. Can you share any of what the message was?
No. Ask me whatever you want. I might not answer you, but you can ask me whatever you want.
I knew you weren't going to answer that.
I knew you knew I wasn't going to answer that.
So the last couple of days, I have to be honest, I've heard people referencing John, and I thought, who are they talking about at first? And then I realized they were talking about you. I've never called you John.
No,
so
don't.
What do we?
Torts.
Torts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ever, my mom calls me John.
Okay.
My wife does too sometimes. Sometimes she uses other names, but no, Torts is fine.
So I was trying to get my head around it. Is that
John
Torts?
Yeah.
What has this been like for you? How would you describe this opportunity?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I mean, to walk into a team like this and walk into an organization like this towards the end of my career, what happened last year, getting fired out of Philly, I've always said I wanted to coach. I never thought this type of opportunity was coming my way this quickly. And so that's why I'm nervous because I don't want to let anybody down in the organization. And it's really weird coming in this late. And the team is a really good team. It's a team that's been well coached. So I'm very fortunate and very excited about the opportunity to work with them.
Some people would be surprised to hear Torts gets nervous.
Oh yeah. I was nervous the other night, the first game. It's usually games, it's adrenaline and you just geared up.
Yeah.
It was different for me the other night because it was such a whirlwind coming from the East Coast and having maybe a couple hours to throw some stuff in a bag. My wife and I asked her, because they were so gracious to charter me out here, I said, why don't you just come with me? Watch a game and we'll get you home after. And her and I just finished with our grandkids that day and threw a bunch of crap in bags and jumped on a plane. And it's been nonstop until after the game Monday. So it was a crazy time. But the people have treated me and my staff have been so good that I've leaned on to.
There's the story of Rick Bowness being on the boat when he got the call.
Yeah.
Where were you?
You know, I talked to Bo when Kelly and I, it worked out that I was coming. Monday, the day I was going to buy a boat, I already had set up with some, because I know all the charter captains down there in Tampa. I've lived down there, coached down there. I know them all. Love fishing. And my buddy Mike Anderson, we already had set up. We were going to Homosassa Marine, and I was buying a Skeeter. I had the boat picked out and everything. So and Bo and I and Bones and I have texted a little bit about that. So it's funny. It's really weird.
So what happens to the boat now?
Oh, it can wait. That can wait. When it comes to
So
this.
is it on hold?
It's on hold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already. Yeah, it's on hold. So.
How many feet?
It's going to be a 24-footer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grandkids. I want one for fishing, but I also want one for my 2 grandkids where I can take them out. Yeah.
You've been around the game forever, but you've never taken over a team this late.
Never.
Do you bounce stuff off other people? Are you just going on the fly?
I've bounced stuff off of Kelly, George, all my coaches. My coaches have been fantastic. Just filling me in on. Someone asked me about players, and I got to figure out personalities, right? And we've gone through the lineup as far as what type of kid, how do you think he should be coached, all that stuff. There's been so many questions that I've asked of so many people here, and it's helped me tremendously because there's not much time left, right? And in the standings, we've got to do our work here, and so it's been busy. Yesterday from probably 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock. When I walked back to the hotel, I went into a restaurant and I asked them for just a seat in the corner. And it's the Red Rock Hotel here, and nice steakhouse. I said, can you just get me a seat in the corner? It's really the first time I stopped thinking and had a beer, ordered a steak, and it was kind of nice for a couple hours. So it was good.
There's the opportunities that coaches get, and they take over young teams.
Yes.
This is different. Does it run on its own, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to babysit, and I've kind of explained that to the guys. And I told them right from the get-go in the meeting, I've been coaching young teams the last number of years in my career here, and teach them how to be a pro, stuff you do off the ice, how you come into a locker room, all these little things. Mm-hmm. I don't need to do that here. I need to ask questions. What do they want out of us? I think it's a matter of, it's not that you don't trust the young kids. They don't know. They don't know. They wouldn't know how to answer some of the questions I've asked. So there's no babysitting going on here. It's me asking them what they need. We've spent a couple of days here. I've asked them, what else do you need? What other changes do you think? I haven't made a bunch of changes, but do they think there needs to be some? Not just in the game itself, but how we do our business here, when we run our meetings. So I'm relying on them. They're the veteran group, and so it's different for me, and very exciting for me.
What are your expectations about this experience?
My expectations is just I want myself and my staff and the group that we're coaching to be the best we can be each and every day. Not looking at, it's easy to say to make the playoffs and to win a Stanley Cup, all the things you say. Those aren't my expectations. My expectations, you got to have short-term expectations. That's the only way I can operate, and that is to let's put the work in. We've got to put the work in as a coaching staff. We've got to communicate how we're going about things and what we want out of them in certain situations that arise. and they've got to put the work in when we ask them to work. And that was today. I liked today. We had a good tape session. I thought the practice was good. I want them out of the building. Get out of the building. We'll see you tomorrow. We have a 10 o'clock meeting, optional skate. We'll get ready for tomorrow's work. And those are my expectations, nothing else. There's no predictions, no final goal. It's each and every day.
Have you always done the full lap after
I do.
drills?
Yeah.
A little old school.
It's a little old school.
It.
Yeah. People call me old school. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't mind being called old school because there's a lot of good things with old school stuff.
You and Chris ever spend much time in Vegas, or? No,
the only time we've been here is we've been to a couple of. They have the award ceremonies at the end of the year. We've been here a couple of times for that. Not really. The desert when we were a young couple, and I was Jim Schoenfeld's assistant coach back in Scottsdale. There, we spent 2 years there, and kids were small. We had a blast, but we haven't been back to the desert much since. So,
what's a off day without hockey like for you? A perfect day?
Animals.
Okay.
Yeah. We always have animals. We rescue them, and if it's not hockey, it's our kids. We're kind of empty nesters. Our kids are gone. Now the grandkids have come in, so I shouldn't say animals because the grandkids have come into play now, and that is, people say it changes your life again. You have your kids, it changes your life. It does. But the greatest thing about having grandkids, you get to boot them when you had enough of them, and you're tired, and you just want them to leave.
So you're a fun grandpa? What do they call you?
They call me Grandpa. Yes. They already have a hat too.
Really?
Yeah. So surprise, huh?
What animals are there right now?
We just dogs and horses right now. Yeah, dogs and horses, and we have a beautiful farm out in Florida. We've trucked those animals around all over the place. So we like doing it. I'd rather be with animals sometimes than with people, and and you know what? It's needed. Yeah. There are so many situations with animals; they're in such dire need. We're lucky we're able to do that, and we're going to do it.
Do you have a naming theme? Like, do you name them after hockey?
No,
names, or
no.
Is it random?
Some of them come with names. We have one horse, Chevy. She's called Chevy because she basically was dead on the ground, and a Chevy pickup and a skid steer had to put her into the back of the Chevy because she couldn't stand. Wow. And she couldn't stand for weeks. And it wasn't at our farm, it was with an organization that we work with. Yeah. They basically hand fed her. If I could show you before and after, someday I will.
And she's great now?
She's fantastic. She's over 30 years old now. Wow. Yeah, so she was basically dead. They saved her, Zach and Rachel out in Ohio, Southern Ohio, when we were in Columbus. And then we took her once there's so much to come in to bring her back to life, and we weren't capable to do that. We just didn't have the knowledge, but now we have her. We've had her now for probably 7 or 8 years, and she's, the three we have, they were in tough shape. Wow. They were in tough shape. So. And
where does that come from? The animal.
My wife. Yeah. I love animals. Always have in my life, but never to the extent of where we're at now. My wife is out of her mind, and like she said to me when she left yesterday, she said to me, she says, I feel bad for you. She says, I get to go home to the animals. And
you're in the NHL.
Yeah, I'm in the NHL coaching one of the top teams in the league, one of the greatest organizations. She feels bad for me because she gets to go home to the animals. And
I love her.
I'm definitely back seat to a lot of animals are front and row and center for her. So it's good.
Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get to know you and watch you every night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's my conversation with Torts earlier today. Covered a lot of ground in there. Some fun stuff. The start, though, I asked the question today because I saw the leadership group having some fun with Torts off to the side at the end of the skate, and I was curious what they were talking about, and knowing full well that I might not get beyond the gate on it. But you don't normally get a chance to talk about it so soon after. that exchange, so that was good. And then be able to get into what he's experiencing right now. And I love this when he said, "I'm not here to babysit."
Yeah.
This is a veteran team. They know what's happening, and I can just coach. Which played off our hour one discussion about it being a young team. This is a very different experience for Torts in taking over a team that's ready to go.
I liked the idea of, not necessarily looking too far ahead, not getting too hung up in ultimate expectations or goals, but just zeroing in on what you've got to do today, what you have to do tomorrow, and then trying to stack those days. I thought that was excellent. And, I just think just generally when you talk about enthusiasm and the opportunity, when Torts says flat out, "I'm nervous because I don't want to let anybody down," it gives you an idea, like genuinely an idea of how much he is appreciative and looking forward to this chance. Because you're right, it is not a young rebuilding team. It is a team that is built to win and built to win now. And it's John Tortorella's job to find that.
You surprised to hear him say that he's nervous? I think it's a great bit of transparency.
Yeah.
From a guy who, when Torts is in the hallway, you stand up a little taller, and whether that's a rookie, whether that's a veteran, whether that's equipment staff, or me. And then he admits that he was nervous the other night.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, surprised probably, just because you don't necessarily hear that often from, you don't hear it often from players. You certainly don't hear it too often from coaches. And, I think in terms of that transparency, it's awesome because, if you're not doing something that challenges you, if you're not doing something that scares you a little bit, and that can be, what you're talking about with nervousness. I think that, sometimes it's not necessarily worth doing. So the fact that there is that built in for Tortorella, it gives you an idea of how much he understands what's in front of him. This opportunity is there for him. And yeah, I love the fact that he's not afraid to just say, yeah, I was nervous for that first game, and I don't want to let this organization down with the opportunity that's in front of me.
I leave every interview like that wishing I'd asked one more question. I didn't get to one more question. Sometimes you don't have time. Sometimes you just you miss it. It's right there in front of you, and you didn't think of it. And that's the case with this discussion that I had with him today. The question that I left on the table that it didn't occur to me until after was, what are you going to name the boat?
Right. Yeah.
And does he go down the one of his favorite dogs or something like that? I'm curious. You got to get to that answer in the next couple of days. But I got a text from, because this was put out on VGK social media earlier, just in the last hour before we came on the air. But a lot of people have seen it and now heard it. And I got a text from somebody in the hockey world and said between Bones and Torts and these boats and getting jobs out of it.
Yeah,
every coach that's out of work is getting a boat.
Needs to either get a boat or buy a
boat.
Go
on boat shopping.
Get on a boat. Yeah.
One of the two. Isn't that wild that they both? I wasn't expecting that, but I thought, well, maybe he was out with the dogs, because his dedication and philanthropy with dogs and animals is incredible, and I love it as an animal lover. A little zoo at my house. I don't know how people don't live with a dog in the house, or how do they live without dogs? You've got your animals, but I was aware of that, but it goes pretty deep. That was fun. A lot of different aspects. A lot of cool information there with John Tortorella.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you an insight into John Tortorella, the person. And, I've got goats, I've got chickens, I've got cats, I've got dogs, I've got the whole gamut of animal at my house. And it's something that brings immense joy. And, the fact that he's working so hard, so diligently to make sure that, animals are rescued and and nursed back to health in such a massive way. It just gives you a glimpse of just how good a person he is.
And I could relate with the whole animals, humans, who I want to hang out with.
Yep. I'm with you.
A lot of days.
Yeah. More often than not.
I'll hang out with my buddy Bear. My family would be like, okay, that's fine. We'll take a break and we'll come back. We've got some tickets to the Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames to come. We'll get to that in one-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League, and also just bring you up to date with a couple of games that are happening tonight in the NHL. It's the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Carlson left corner, centered, one-timer, score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Brought to you by Paul Padalaw. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
It's a Wednesday. It's a national night for the National Hockey League. That means basically very few games are played on these nights because it's reserved for the national broadcasters. TNT is usually on the Wednesday night, so it's a lighter schedule as you look at things throughout the year on this one. But we do have some impactful games tonight. The Canucks against the Avalanche. The Avalanche looking for their 50th win of the season tonight, and they can add to that. It's going to end up being one of the most incredibly efficient and productive seasons in NHL's history, going back to what Boston did a few years ago. But again, great regular season doesn't necessarily carry over. Boston had trouble in that opening round. The Kings against the Blues, that's important because the Kings are just outside a playoff spot in the Western Conference. And the Ducks against the Sharks. This is not just a regional rivalry. The Anaheim Ducks, first place. They need a couple of points. They let one get through their fingers the other night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, losing in overtime. They would like to extend their lead on the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And the San Jose Sharks are in one of those spots where you can't wait anymore. You got to pick up points almost on a nightly basis. San Jose is 2 points outside of a playoff spot right now. This is one of two games in hand that they hold over the Nashville Predators. So they got to win those games. If San Jose wins both games in hand, they're the team in by a couple of points. Yeah, win those. But you're playing the first place team in the division, so that's it might be the most important Anaheim-San Jose game that we've had in 10 years.
I would agree with that because you think about it from just another perspective. If the San Jose Sharks win and the Los Angeles Kings lose in regulation, then tomorrow the San Jose Sharks will be in a wild card spot. Like, that's the reality of the situation, right? Like, they have an opportunity in front of them with games in hand to go on a run and do some damage. I'm talking about San Jose here. So what better way of doing that than beating the first place team in the Pacific Division to kind of start that run? So it should be a really entertaining game every time these two teams play. You can expect goals, and Macklin Celebrini is pretty good. So I'm ready for it. That's going to be appointment television for me tonight.
Word of the day. Let's get that out to the people.
All right, Fox Sports Las Vegas wants you to hit the jackpot every Monday through Friday. You could win $2,026 just by listening up for the daily code word and texting it to 702-876-1340. Today, our code word is showgirl. Showgirl. Text showgirl, SHOWGIRL, all one word, showgirl, to 702-876-1340, and you will be in the running to win the jackpot, $2,026. All thanks to Lotus Broadcasting, Paul Padala, and Fox Sports Las Vegas. Showgirl.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it like showgirls or
no.
Singular?
Singular. A singular showgirl. All one word. SHOWGIRL. Showgirl. That's what you text in.
I think Daren brings up an excellent point here because they do normally, spawn in pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Not today.
It's like synchronized swimming.
Today
you
it is.
You don't usually just see one.
That is true. That is true, but today we are just swimming.
Showgirl.
A singular showgirl.
When you text that in, you will get a response back that says you are now qualified for the sports jackpot thanks to Paul Pata Law. If you don't get a return text, an automatic reply saying that, you've been autocorrected or you spelled it wrong.
Right.
But showgirls shouldn't be autocorrected.
Yeah, showgirl.
But I could see people putting showgirls in.
I could too. That's why I was very, very clear.
I still had to ask.
It is not a collective. It is not a grouping. It is a singular showgirl. One showgirl.
Yeah, I still had to ask. That's how fine of a line this is tonight.
In a lot of ways, it would be like just doing rebel instead of rebels. Mm-hmm. But, it is what it is. It's showgirl. That's the word of the day.
Clinching scenarios. We're at that time of the season.
Nice
where
pivot.
We run it out every night. Opportunities for teams to either book their spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs or clinch a specific standing position. Mm-hmm. Tonight, it involves the Minnesota Wild. This sounds like an April Fool's joke.
Okay.
But it's not.
All right.
Because I fell for an April Fool's joke today.
Did you really?
Yep. Here's the clinching scenario tonight.
I want to know what that joke was.
Here's the clinching scenario tonight. Minnesota Wild, Idle, will clinch a playoff berth.
Yeah.
If the St. Louis Blues defeat the Los Angeles Kings in any fashion, or if the Anaheim Ducks beat the San Jose Sharks in regulation. So a couple of those chasing teams, if they lose. But it's always odd when a team can clinch without playing.
I mean, not really. It's not that weird to me.
Yeah, it always strikes me as odd, and because you don't get that emotion of it's the same way if you on nights you play and you lose, but you clinch because of other action.
Sure,
that's taking place. It always just rubs me the wrong way. It's like that shouldn't work that way. You don't get to enjoy the moment of clinching.
But all the work that you put in to be 10, 15, 20 points ahead of other teams is
don't be
part
like
of it.
that.
What are you talking about? Don't be like that. That's literally the point of clinching.
Look at it.
Why else do you have standings?
I'm not saying it's not right that it can't happen. I'm just saying it feels odd.
I think
it feels weird.
I think
if you clinch without playing, everybody else is in a different. Nobody's together.
Then
oh yeah, clinched. Group text.
Fine.
Clinched.
Then you know what?
Clinched.
You know what? I think for the Minnesota Wild, if they clinch tonight and they get the little X by their name, I think
everybody
that all the players should say, you know what? It is not official.
No.
Until we play our next game.
No, you go to Applebee's and have a party.
Really?
Yeah.
To Applebee's.
Or Capos.
Okay. Get Jared Justice on the piano.
Jared, can you
tickle the ivories?
Can you do that? Capos has a great set. Sometimes there's magic. Other times there's the lounge singer.
I would say what I can do on the piano is the opposite of magic.
Can you play Jaws?
I can literally just slam my hands into it.
Then you could play Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can play that theme.
Okay.
You know the theme to Jaws, right?
Donna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
Because he was pushing back on that. I'm like,
he was like, no, I can't play two notes.
This?
I can't play two notes.
I think you're vastly overestimating my talent. Give me something to read, and then you put good music underneath it. I can handle that.
It's one note and then the next note. That's all it is.
You lost me.
No.
I always leave a note in between.
Well, then you wouldn't be playing the Jaws theme.
I put my own flavor on it.
Well,
Cale
then
McCarr,
it's not what it is.
Cale McCarr will miss some time for the Colorado Avalanche.
Not
with
ideal.
An upper body injury.
Yeah.
Defenseman was hurt in that could have gone either way, 9-2 win against the Calgary Flames on Monday. He had 3 assists in the game. but didn't take any shifts in the third.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Bednar, I'm actually modeling a little bit of Jared Bednar flow right now.
Yeah, it's longer than typical, huh?
Bednar said that Cale's doing okay. He's going to miss some time, though. Nothing serious, nothing that's putting the playoffs in jeopardy or anything like that. Something that's going to miss that's going on right now at the time of the year. They would just want to make sure it's right. So, yeah, he's going to be kept out for a little bit. But did say was very upfront with it's nothing that's going to keep him out of the playoffs.
Then you're good. Like, if you're the Colorado Avalanche, you are one of two teams that have clinched a playoff spot. So get Makar the rest that he needs. Get him right for game one of the playoffs or the final couple of games of the regular season if he feels like he wants or needs to tune up, and go out there and try to win where it matters. Like, it's kind of my take on it.
So we talked about the media conference that was held in Toronto yesterday by the president of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, Keith Pelly.
Yes.
Guy that tried to hire me twice. One time I turned him down. The other time I was going to take it, but something happened corporately, so it got stopped. The offer wasn't allowed to go through.
Okay.
And then I worked for him when he came over to Sportsnet eventually. So I know Keith for a number of years. Really passionate guy, really smart television guy. Ran the European Golf Tour for the last number of years, and then came over to run the Toronto Maple Leafs. We discussed that today on 100% Hockey with John Shannon. We had our buddy on from Florida, Doug McLean, was on. Doug doesn't lack for an opinion on anything.
Sure.
He's one of the greatest, one of my best friends, and one of the most entertaining people in the game. But we talked about this situation with Toronto because after this year, Matthews is under contract with the Leafs for 2 more years, Austin Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
And the team's going either through a rebuild or a reset. They're not sure what they are right now. They're going to hire a new general manager. They may hire a president of hockey operations. Then they got to make a decision on the coach, and there's a lot of moving parts there. But if Austin Matthews, this is what we talked about today. What if Austin Matthews says, I'm not doing a reset. I'm not sticking around that because I don't know whether it's going to work. I'm not interested in a rebuild. Like, what if Austin Matthews gets ahead of the game this summer? And we floated this around a little bit on our show. I brought it up. But now the potential is really there because of the downturn in their season and where they are. And it's a possibility. We all think that it may not be Toronto making this call. It may be Austin Matthews going out and diving into it. Now, Matthews, the interesting part is Matthews and Connor McDavid are on the same timeline contractually.
Yeah.
They both have 2 years left after this year. Both represented by the same person, I believe. So would it be incumbent on the market for one of them to make their decision earlier? Connor McDavid signed with Edmonton. I think he follows through on that.
Sure.
Especially if they make the playoffs and things are better. They go to the second round or third round. I think Connor, because of the deal that he struck there, sticks it out.
Mm-hmm.
At least for another year. And then if he's not going to re-sign, like Edmonton will be having those conversations a year from now about if you're not going to re-sign, we got to make a decision to get something back.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
But for Austin Matthews, don't be shocked if Toronto or I'm thinking more Austin Matthews decide to speed up the process a little bit because Matthews and McDavid going to market in the same year,
mm-hmm.
like it lessens the bidding war because somebody may not go to the nth degree because they go, okay, I'll just spend this money on the other guy.
Right.
So just keep an eye on that.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Austin Matthews is not with Toronto to start next year. I wouldn't be surprised.
And where's his health?
Right, sure.
What are you? neither guy can negotiate an extension for another year.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm, and Doug McLean said a lot of great things today about this. He's negotiated, but he's been the general manager. If you're interviewing for that job, that Toronto job, one of the first things you're asking is, what's the status of Austin Matthews?
Right.
Like, you know the injury, but he's dropped off the last 2 years from big-time numbers. What's the status of Austin? Give me everything I need to know to inform myself going into this job.
Yeah, 100%. A lot to... I mean, it's a big summer for the Leafs. There's no question about it.
We've got tickets to see the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Calgary Flames tomorrow night.
Yes, we sure do. All right, let's go. Caller number 6, 702-876-1340. Caller number 6, you will win a pair of tickets to see the Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames tomorrow. You'll also be qualified for an opportunity to win tickets to the Frozen Four Hockey Championship at T-Mobile Arena on April 9th and 11th. So, caller number 6, you're a winner.
Now, you've got this connection to Buffalo. Can you imagine the Buffalo Sabres clinching a playoff spot after 14 years out on a night they don't play?
I don't
Bummer.
think they would care.
That would
Stop.
That would be terrible.
They haven't had an X by their name in 14 years, Daren. I don't think they care. If they clinch and they lose, if they clinch because they're not playing, it doesn't matter at all, just as long as they clinch. You're way off there.
Such a bummer.
Not a chance. Not even a little bit.
You know what? You should have been an accountant.
In what way?
Like the pocket protector and just everything's just numbers. No emotion in it.
It is emotional.
You should be doing my taxes right now.
Daren, if they clinch, no matter how it happens, it's something they haven't done in a decade and a half.
You know what? If you were my accountant right now, you know what? I would try and write off this conversation.
I do that many times.
That was pretty funny,
every day.
Actually.
Jared is begging you to go to break.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We'll be back right after this on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
That was One-Timers. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
I'm on fire over here, lads. Come on, I need some back and forth. Come on, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? Now make it quick. Make it funny.
We're down to the wire. It's the last minute of play.
Thanks to John Tortorella, Torts, for joining me earlier this afternoon, and I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you missed any of it, you can listen to the podcast here on Fox Sports Las Vegas or Vegas Golden Knights social media channels at Golden Knights on X, for example. It's posted there, and just get to know the coach a little bit better. Should also tell you that there's been a roster transaction that's come down here in the last couple of minutes. The Golden Knights have assigned Braden Bowman to the Silver Knights. So that taking place. Bowman hasn't played the last couple of games, and he'll get an opportunity to play this weekend against the Tucson Roadrunners as the Vegas Golden Knights try to lock down a playoff spot. Clinching scenarios coming up this weekend. So Braden Bowman been signed to the HSK rookie entry-level contract, so they had some flexibility there with Braden.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think for Braden, the idea or the hope, right, is just go out and play some games. As you mentioned, hasn't been in the lineup for a little bit for the Golden Knights. Let's go out, play some meaningful games, important games, obviously, for the Henderson Silver Knights, and then you can go from there.
Chevy. What a great name for a horse in our discussion with Torts today.
Yeah. Do you have a naming theme for all your animals?
We have at times we've done like people names, like
yes.
Earl.
I feel like
Austin.
every animal should have a human name.
This last little bit we've gone more with dog names. Oreo and Bear are our current dogs.
We did like country singers for our goats, our male goats. So we did Cash and Waylon and Hank.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they sing.
Well, Cash is he's the man in black, and they do sing. It's not a great tune, but they do sing.
nice.
Ever been around goats?
Nope.
Yeah, they're loud.
Yeah.
Pretty gross, too. But they're lovely.
I see them at the little farm in the summer that we go to. But no, don't spend a lot of time beyond that. And you know what the best part is? I leave. just like Torts and the grandkids.
Yeah.
You can give them back. There you go. Game day tomorrow. Vegas Golden Knights against Calgary Flames. Zach Whitecloud will be in the building. Rasmus Anderson facing his former team. We'll tee it up for you tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Fox Sports Las Vegas.